no. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. Old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, Fly Fishing Guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah. Try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
I always laugh for that intro on the days that Jay Tust is on because I think he's like a 5 or 6 time winner on the TV side. So we need to change that. How are we doing, Jay Tust? Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. A lot to discuss. A lot going on in Boise State world. We got the big scrimmage number 2 tomorrow. Wanted to discuss that. We got Maddox Madson. He talked yesterday and said some interesting stuff, I thought. We talked to Eric Shenander as well. Alvaro Cardenas, we're another day removed for that, but we haven't gotten your thoughts on his commitment. We'll probably start there, and then had some fun last night on the Riley and Ridge show as well with Riley Smith, Kent Riddle. They had DJ Schramm as their special guest, and had some funny stories, and one that I wanted to share briefly for folks that missed it about how they decided on the uniforms for the LA Bowl. I thought that was a pretty funny story, including Alex Tubner ended up being a model. Maybe he has a future career of that. So we'll get into that as well.
Once upon a time, I heard the Tubes had that he did have a little bit of a say in those bowl uniforms.
Well, you'll hear that here in a little bit. This is the story themselves from DJ and Riley. It's pretty cool. The 2 captains from last year kind of just chopping it up, telling some stories and things. If you missed the full episode, you can go back and watch the Riley and Ridge show there on Bronco Nation News. Another nice day outside. We're getting closer to that BNN golf tournament, starting to feel like golf weather. So we're down to 7 foursomes, J-Tuss, for the morning. If folks want to play, they better get in quick. 7 foursomes for the morning, and that is the foursome where you'll get to see, that is the time frame you'll get to see Jay Tust just absolutely let it rip And we are taking bids to be in the group right behind Jay, so you can see him tee off. And then the ones we don't like, you'll be in the group in front of Jay, so you may have a chance to get hit. But
no, you need to play like in the group like 4 ahead of me, so that like
when 2 fairways over to the right.
Yeah, when you're coming down, yeah, exactly. The fairway, I might be hitting up the other one and just slice it right into your group. So then there's that awkward moment where I have to yell 4, go over, find my ball, pause your play. Yeah, it's not good. Luckily, usually I do play with some ringers though from over at Atkinson. So usually our ball finds the fairway.
May 31st, Timberstone Golf Course. We're about 6 weeks away. Come on in now. We'd love to have you play. Again, only 7 foursomes left in the morning. We do have some afternoon foursomes available as well. You get lunch. You get 18 holes of golf. You get some balls, a golf towel, some free swag, and it's going to be a cool time. Some of your favorite coaches and players out there. And Jay, I did confirm briefly while he was taking off your microphone, Maddox Madson is back in to play again this year. The knee will be good enough to play golf by May 31st. He was out there last year with Jonah Dalmas and the crew, and I have tasked Jonah Dalmas. He is kind of helping coordinate that and is getting a list of players that want to play. And so we'll have some football players out there. We'll have some coaches and players. I've mentioned in the past, Spencer Danielson is going to be out there as well. And then we're also working on an event the night before with Spencer and Q&A for some fans and stuff. So a lot more details to come, but it's going to be a fun time. You get your Degenhart dozen donuts. You got your chance to win the hole-in-one from Lithia, Florida, Boise. You get the chance to win a new car with a hole-in-one. So a lot of fun stuff. And again, we'd love to have you. It's May 31st at Timberstone. Get in now before we sell out. And I wanted to get that plug in right off the bat, Jay, because I'm looking outside and there's blue sky and it's a little cold right now, but it's going to warm up back into the 60s, 70s. I think tomorrow's 75 or something. I mean, it is finally, maybe just for a little couple days at least, starting to look like spring.
Good day to go watch Justin Schultz and the Boise State softball team. They're at home at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Also at home at 6 o'clock tonight, taking on Fresno State. Went out and saw the game against UW. Man, I got to tell you, BJ, they threw one of their best pitchers off the bat. With all due respect, I feel like I've almost been watching softball in slow motion at times. She was unbelievably good. She could absolutely bring it. But tip of the cap to them. I don't know.
They weren't sitting around for the midweek game in Boise. They brought their ace to the mound right away.
Apparently, they have a bye, I guess, this weekend. And so that's what kind of made this trip possible for them. And yeah, they obviously wanted to get one of their best pitchers a little bit of work in there. And like I said, she was really, really, really impressive. And when she left the game, I think it was 9-0. And Sydney Groves just hit at least a 3-1 pitch into right field. They brought in the relief pitcher, and the next girl, Alicia Flores, hit a 2-run bomb to center field. They ended up losing 15-9. Like, they battled back and made it definitely respectable. So excited to see them get out there as they return to conference play for kind of an important home series, man. Like I've talked about this quite a bit on the news, but they've got to finish in the top 6 in the Mountain West Conference standings in order to play in the Mountain West tournament. And they host it this year since they won the regular season title last year, as we all know. But they got to make sure if they take care of business this week, and I feel like they would feel pretty good about their chances. But no time to waste for the women's softball team.
No doubt. Good luck to Coach Schultz softball team this weekend. You said 6 o'clock tonight, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Should be some good weather, so get out there and support the softball team. Also got scrimmage number 2 tomorrow for the football team. We'll get to that, Jay, but let's start with basketball. I think more newsy with Alvaro Cardenas. We both kind of hinted at this the last couple days. I've talked to you about Cardenas for a week on this show. I feel like once we said that he visited,
might have been longer than that.
we've been trying to say that this would be a pretty big addition for them. Some are not as sold. Even folks that contribute to this show are not super sold on Cardenas. There's a comment, some comments in there. I mean, it's not Bronny James. It's not Zach Edey. It's not the dude from Illinois, Indiana State, whatever. Like, I get it, but and maybe for a San Diego State or somebody or a New Mexico that maybe a Cardenas wouldn't be a quote, huge get or massive get for them. But for a team like Boise State that really missed some of the things Cardenas brings to the table, I think it's a bigger get for a school like Boise State than maybe some other schools. And I get it. His jersey says San Jose State, not Baylor or Kentucky or Kansas or Wisconsin or somebody else. I get that. But I think that his production on a bad team only will get better with better players around him. I have a clip we'll play in a second from Cardenas talking about that and just the excitement level of getting to play with guys like Degenhart and Stanley and Abo, what that could do to raise his game. But Jay, I know you have a lot of stats and things out there, and again, I get it. Maybe we're being a little higher than some on him, but just your take and maybe some of the stats and things as to why you believe, as I do, that this is a pretty big deal to get Alvaro Cardenas on this roster.
Well, if you were a Baylor fan and Ray J. Dennis's jersey said Toledo last year, are you writing that off as a bad get? No, right?
No.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know if we just need to. I don't know if you solely invest in the name on the front of the jersey to evaluate a player and the name on the back of the jersey. In this case, when I tweeted this out, BJ, and I think you would agree with me here that when you have Tyson Degenhart, Omar Stanley, and Chibuzo Abo all returning, you find someone that complements them, not the other way around, where those three have to complement a newcomer. And I think you're bringing in a guy that, I mean, I don't know what you've heard, BJ, but I've heard that, that Cardenas had, more lucrative offers, let's just say that, to go elsewhere. And he really wants to play in an NCAA tournament game. He wants to be a part of a winner. And that's why a big reason why he chose Boise State, on top of the fact he'll, probably be in the starting lineup and have a tremendous opportunity here with some really, really good players around him. So, I just, there were other schools that wanted this guy. Heck, another reason why I would call this a victory as well, at the very least, is there were other Mountain West schools after this guy. And
yes,
by getting
Colorado State.
You keep him away from them. Like, you can't not view that as a win.
That should be part of it too. Like Colorado, sorry to cut you off, Jay, but like Colorado State thought he was a good enough replacement for Isaiah Stevens.
Yes.
That they wanted him, and yet all of a sudden we're supposed to think it's not a big deal to get him here.
Well, I mean, it's all perspective, right? Like, yeah, sure, somebody would have wanted a bigger name, but I guess my counter to that too would be, if you want a bigger name, then you're gonna have to write bigger checks to the collective at Boise State. Like, that just, I'm not even trying to criticize fans, but like, because I mean,
you're also not getting bigger names. It's Boise State. Like, this isn't.
It's kind of true. Like, you're not Boise State. I'm just telling you all this. Boise State's never going to land a prospect because they can outbid someone. If you're good enough for Boise State to try to bid on you, there are other schools that use their NIL capital in much more, loose and frivolous ways, less strategic ways than Boise State does. So they have deeper pockets. They'll just throw money at people to try to get them to come to their school. Boise State's just not in that. If you get an athlete to come to Boise State, it's going to be for a reason. Like, they see the culture, they see the program, they want to play for Leon, they want to play with Tyson Degenhart, and they want to win. And there's no way that this move does not help them win. If you look at his numbers, and I hope I'm not repeating myself, BJ. I don't want to be too redundant.
Because we have folks, even Bronco Ray on here. We got other folks on here who go overkill on Cardenas. People are thinking we're overhyping him a little bit, but so please provide some of the stats. And I'll just say this, Jay, like, you're not getting the leading scorer from Duke to transfer down to Boise State. You're getting either the guy at Duke that was the literal last guy on the bench, like the Abu Kijabs, like the Chibuzo Abos. And so then it's like a no-win for Leon. Like, fans aren't excited because they're like, oh, he averaged 1 point at Texas Tech. Oh, what's this guy going to do? Oh, he averaged 1 point at Oregon. Well, then you get a guy that's a double-digit scorer in this league already, who usually those guys are the ones that transfer up to the Power Five. And you get a guy like this, a proven player in this league, and it's like, oh, he's coming from San Jose State. Who cares? Bad team. Yeah. It's like, Leon can't win sometimes.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I'm okay if fans wanted a bigger name, but like, I also encourage you just to, again, be realistic about what Boise State can acquire. Like, who out there is a better option than Alvaro Cardenas that Boise State realistically could have landed? Like, if you're going to complain about, that's the answer that I need, because I just don't think there are a ton of them. There's a ton of answers to that out there. And when you look at what Boise State needs, right? They need a guy that can make people around him better and play the point guard position and distribute the ball. And, Roddy Anderson had some really, really nice moments last year, but he just wasn't consistent enough, right? And So now they bring in a guy that can challenge Roddy and maybe start over Roddy and hopefully make Roddy better for that matter too. But I want to focus on Alvaro. And if you look at his numbers from last year, there were only 5 players in the NCAA that averaged over 13 points, 5 assists, and shot 38% or better from 3. That group includes Northwestern's Boo Buie, Marquette guard Tyler Kolek, Colorado State guard Isaiah Stevens, and there was a guard from Utah as well, and Alvaro Cardenas. Like, that is a really, really good group to be in. I mean, Kolek and Buie and Stevens, I mean, you're talking about in terms of college point guard, like those might be like the purest best in the game, like darn right up there. You look at like his ability to dish out assists and just be even efficient overall from pretty much every level of scoring. Only 4 players in the NCAA had over 170 assists last year, while shooting 40%, 45% from the field, 38% from 3, and 80% from the free throw line. It's Kolek, Stevens, KJ Simpson, who we got a nice up and close look at the NCAA tournament, and Cardenas. I mean, these are all guys that took their teams to the NCAA tournament, with the exception of Cardenas, and I think that's more of the situation he was in, the players around him. Now you're going to surround him with some really good talent, and if
what was the 1,100 minutes? What was the stat about 1,100 minutes?
So he only he was the only player in the NCAA to play over 1,100 minutes last year. And have 65 or less turnovers while also picking up 170 assists. And so that means he played a lot of minutes, rarely turned the ball over, and still had a fantastic assist to turnover ratio, which ranked 3rd in the Mountain West last year, and would have been a sizable lead on Boise State's team this year, especially at the point guard position. And if you need further perspective, you look at the fact Lashard Anderson holds the single season record for assists at Boise State with 165. He did that in Leon Rice's very first year, the 2010-11 season. Outside of that, in the Leon Rice era, Derek Marks had 122 assists. That's second on the list in the Leon Rice era. That mark by Lashard Anderson's number 1 overall all time, regardless of era. 165 for Anderson, 122 for Derek Marks. Last year, Alvaro Cardenas had 171. So if he comes in and just does what he did at San Jose State, which, given the talent around him, is going to be significantly better.
Yes.
I mean, you really might be looking at one of the more productive point guards in the history of the Boise State basketball team. And that's, we're projecting here a little bit. And I get that. And I think that, Boise State's had a really high hit rate out of the transfer portal. I really like Roddy Anderson. I like some of the things that he brings to the table. I think if you want to just condense his career to 1 year, which is probably unfair because he's supposed to be able to develop, right? That it probably felt like last year alone that might have been a little bit of a miss. I think that's fair to say. I think he's got a really bright future, but just factoring in the last year alone, probably not consistent enough. Although he also gets overlooked for the defense he plays at times. But this is a chance for Boise State to upgrade that position, and at the very, very least, make the competition there significantly higher than it has been, in the last 6 or 12 months or so.
Yeah, I don't know how you look at this. I just don't know how you look at this and say this is anything but a fairly big upgrade to this roster. Because again, it says San Jose State on the jersey. I get it, but again, you're not getting somebody with proven stats at a Power 5 school to transfer down to Boise State. So I don't know what you're looking for in terms of what you expect Boise State to be able to get. And so again, when Chibuzo Abo came, we heard the same thing. Oh, this guy scored 1 point at Texas Tech. He's a marginal upgrade, whatever. We'll see. I mean, so I just don't know how. I don't understand what. I don't know. I don't know what people are looking for, I guess, from that standpoint.
I think the way that Cardenas plays, though, like he's a pretty mature player, and like I just feel like what he did at San Jose State is going to transition and translate onto the court here at Boise State. Like I feel a little bit more confident about that than Roddy shot a lot at UC San Diego, right? Like that's what
He's
he was
also
asked
like
to do.
literally played in every arena and played every team that he's gonna. You didn't know how the stats from Roddy Anderson were going to translate up from UC San Diego. Like you're already quantifying a player in Cardenas that has literally done it in the same league.
Wait.
And as you said, with not as good of players, no disrespect to San Jose State, not as good facilities, no fans showing up at their games. Now you put a solid player into a better situation with better players, better fans, better team, better facilities, more a winning culture. Like that's the soundbite I'm going to play here in a second from Alvaro. But like, I don't know how you could. And again, unless you were expecting the big guy from Arizona, Bob Bialo or whoever, like unless you were just, and maybe it's my fault for overhyping it. I get it, but I don't think I overhyped it. I think he's a pretty big addition. If you actually like know basketball and look at the rosters and look at this, I don't know how you could downplay this. I don't.
Yeah. Another thing that I think we overlook is, man, once upon a time, transferring within the conference was almost taboo. Like, I mean, like that wasn't something that you would see or wanted to see. And now you have, one of the best, if not the best player off of one team wanting to transfer in conference and come play for Boise State. And, Bart Torvik does a good job putting numbers together, BJ. And if you look at, the people that his metrics say are the best returning players in the Mountain West next year.
Yeah.
Boise State has 4 out of the top 8. And that's hard to dismiss. It's hard to ignore that. And that will change. I get like, San Diego State's probably going to hammer the portal here soon and things like that. But if you just want to look at it right now, I don't know how that can't suggest that Boise State is going to be in contention, to cut down the nets at the end of the regular season, maybe at the Mountain West tournament, and hopefully chase that elusive victory in the NCAA tournament.
Let's hear from Alvaro Cardenas. I had a chance to catch up with him. We played this full interview yesterday, but I wanted to play a bite here about the opportunity to play with better players, the opportunity, why he picked Boise State, what he saw, and it's a lot of what we're talking about here. Here's Alvaro Cardenas on choosing Boise State. And if you watched yesterday, his wife, believe it or not, Jay, in the tech capital of the world, he didn't have great Wi-Fi there at San Jose State. So hopefully they can improve that as well. So his mouth doesn't line up perfectly with the words, but you can hear the words, which is what matters. Here's Cardenas on why he chose Boise State and his excitement level for becoming a Bronco.
Yeah, well, I think if I'm being honest, I feel like they've been in need of a true point guard. And that's just what I've done my whole life. I'm a pass first guy. That's just, I think I make others around me better. And that's just kind of what I do. I just like to get others involved. And at the same time, I feel like I can score pretty well as well. So yeah, that was the main thing. I thought Coach Rice kind of wanted to play a little bit more upbeat tempo, and he wanted somebody to kind of be able to create for others. And you guys have amazing players like Tyson Degenhart and Stanley and Chibuzo Agbo. And I feel like all of those guys will kind of benefit from playing with a player like me who's just going to be able to find them good looks. And I'm really excited to, just be able to play with guys of that caliber, and they're such good players, and it's just kind of make their life a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to any of the players you've played with in the past, but obviously you guys have struggled a little bit there. You went 2-16 in the league this year. I mean, getting a chance to surround yourself with a winning culture, a winning team, and players, like you said, that of that caliber. I mean, do you think that's going to bring out an even better side of your game that we haven't even seen yet?
Yeah, and that's one of the main things that I was looking for when I made this decision to go into the portal. Right, it was just want to be part of a really good team and play with really good players, so that I can also shine and improve my game, because I feel like that would help me a lot. And I don't just plan on having the same year I had. I feel like I've had a pretty good improvement every single year that I've been here in America. It took me a little bit to figure it out, coming from Europe, and physically it was an adjustment. But I feel like I've made improvements every year, and I plan on doing the same thing this year, right? I plan on showing the best version of myself. And at the same time, when I do that, I feel like I impact winning. I can show, and I can just, like I said, help these guys get some better looks and just help the team win.
Hard not to be excited there if you're a Boise State fan, Jay, thinking about what Cardenas did at San Jose. And again, you had Amy, you had a couple guys there, but you don't have 3 first-team all-caliber players like you have at Boise State. So I think it's a perfect fit. And They might not be done with the in-league transfers, J-Tust. Jazz Gardner, a 7-footer, has Boise State on his Final Four. You look at the other 3 schools, and I know nothing about his recruitment yet, but you'd like to think Boise State would be in a pretty good shot based on the 3 schools he's going up against. Loyola Marymount, Iona, and St. Joseph's. And the connection is his senior year, he did transfer to West Ranch High School, and he played his senior year while the senior year was going on for Andrew Meadow. So Jazz Gardner, Andrew Meadow at West Ranch High School were teammates, and he is a true 7-foot center, 225 pounds. Again, if you didn't like the Cardenas one, you probably won't like this one either because he didn't play a whole lot last year at Nevada. But Jay, a 4-star guy, true 7-footer, and the big thing is he is a freshman, or no, going into his sophomore year, so you have 3 years left where he could come in, be your 6th man off the bench, be a key contributor as a 7-footer. He's an athletic guy, also can shoot the 3, likes to shoot the outside shot as well, which kind of fits the style of offense at Boise State. But the intriguing thing would be is you'd have him to kind of take over as a starter when Omar and some of these guys leave after the season. You'd have him for a couple years. Jazz Gardner, I don't know, your thoughts on seeing that Boise State made the Final Four for him.
Yeah, and that's I think we talked about this on Tuesday a little bit, BJ, and once Boise State kind of had, priority 1, which was addressing that point guard position taken care of, now they move on to their second need, and they have Omar Stanley, man, and I think, again, Omar battled some injuries last year very quietly, which that didn't get much attention at all, and he played fantastic, and so you're not going to get somebody. It would have to be the perfect player because then you're gonna reshuffle your starting lineup a little bit, right? So if they can land that perfect player, yeah, it could happen. But Jazz would be a guy that has a ton of eligibility left and would still help you build the program for the future. And we were talking about this on the sideline, even at football practice the other day, BJ. I mean, Cardenas is a great addition, but now I also can't help but just kind of think like, okay, so if Buzo comes back to utilize this COVID year of eligibility, that means after next year they will lose Omar Stanley, Chibuzo Abo, Tyson Dagenhart, and Alvaro Cardenas. So you lose 4 really like program
all Mountain West type starters.
I mean, like really good players, right? And so that's why if you're going to go into the portal again, you almost have to get somebody with multiple years of eligibility remaining, just so that you are also being mindful of your program, not just this 2024-25 Boise State men's basketball team. You can't, if you big part of Boise State's success or story is that they are one of the most consistent programs in the Mountain West in terms of finishing in the top 3 and winning 20 games ever since Leon Rice picked up the clipboard, right? And so you have to be mindful of that. And it seems like a guy like Jazz Gardner would check some of the boxes there where you feel like you're getting, potential, you feel like you're getting talent that can help you right now, but then pay off down the road a little bit. So we'll see. I haven't really dug too far into that situation. I do think, like, go ahead and read into his tweet. Like, I do think there's a real possibility of it for sure. But, that's just, we'll kind of see how that goes.
One member of the team
does seem to fit what they need, though.
No doubt about it. RJ Keene is hanging out in the chat. He's asking if anyone's looked at my house yet. I don't know if you're interested, RJ. I don't know what your NIL situation is, but I'll sell you my house, sure. But
can we just celebrate RJ's back next year?
Yes.
Can we just celebrate that for a second? I'm stoked that Keene's going to be back. I'm even more stoked that the Astros are 4-10 and in last place right now. Actually, I want to. Can I rephrase that real quick, BJ? Forget the Astros record and what I just told you. I'm sorry, RJ. The Astros are really good this year. The Mariners are a game and a half up on them in the West standings. So, I don't want records involved. We'll just say the M's are a game and a half up in the standings. But stoked that RJ's back too.
No doubt about it. That should be fun. RJ, appreciate you jumping in there, and glad you are back next year. And he's going to be, I think, a key contributor with Meadow and some of those guys potentially coming off the bench. And so I think there's an opportunity for him.
Think about that fight to get that last spot in the starting lineup, BJ. It's going to be, it'll be awesome next year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Some options. You got some options there.
Let's switch and talk a little football here. I want to talk about Maddox Madson and then preview the scrimmage tomorrow, Jay. But first, want to remind folks, Cutwater Spirits, more than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Perfect for your next game day tailgate or watching a game or hanging out in the back patio as the weather starts to warm up, that next golf outing. Remember, Cutwater Spirits. Our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Check them out. ROEpaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Whether it's interior, exterior painting, residential, highly recommend the folks at Row Painting. They're doing an outstanding job with various projects at our house, so check them out, ROEpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Mobile eBranch online banking. It's the easiest to use. I wish the Raines family had made the switch sooner. We're so happy with our decision to join Idaho Central Credit Union, and again, you can too. ICCU.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. Love heading down to that Cuno location. It's one of 14 in the state of Idaho. And again, you can download their Shop Ridley's app. You can get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. You can find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Bauscher Real Estate, he's helping us sell our house, and I'm finding out firsthand, Jay, just how impressive him and his staff are. So check them out, BauscherRealEstate.com. The number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher, and Matt and Kelly and the crew have been great to work with, and it's just been an awesome experience, and hoping our house does sell soon here, and I got some more showings coming up here shortly, and so appreciate Matt and Kelly and their team, and highly recommend them if you're looking to buy or sell your home, BauscherRealEstate.com. Lithia Ford at Boise, check them out as well, LithiaFordBoise.com. They got NIL deals with 5 athletes at Boise State, and they're sponsoring the hole-in-one contest at the golf tournament coming up. So LithiaFordBoise.com, you can view that full inventory of vehicles, find the couple you like, go in, test drive them. You're on your way in a couple hours. So highly recommend it as a customer. We love the service at Lithia Ford Boise, and you can check them out too at LithiaFordBoise.com. I'm going to roll through these real quick. TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out. Taco Bell is hiring. They'll give you free food and half the wages after your shift. So check them out. TacoBellWorks.com. SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate their support. TacoBellWorks.com. You can get more information. And again, they're sponsoring student-athlete scholarships at Boise State. So highly recommend Taco Bell. Transportation Compliance Service. If you need a job, check them out. Transportation Compliance Service. They can help you get into the trucking industry with the permits and things you need. So check them out. Highly recommend them. Transcompservice.com. And if you need Boise State gear, the Blue and Orange Store.com. Check them out. The Blue and Orange Store.com. Free shipping, any order over $40. You can also get deals there in person at the Boise Town Square Mall, the second floor next to Pro Image. So shirts, caps, jerseys, you name it, they got it at the Blue and Orange Store. All right, Jay, I do want to start with football, but last night on the Riley and Ridge show, hopefully folks are checking it out. Kent Riddle, former longtime coach, does a great job on some of our pre- and post-game shows. He's teamed up with Riley Smith, who he coached as a tight end. Riley's kind of dabbling in the media business, wondering if he wants to kind of get into it at all. He started a job at ESI last week, so this is just kind of a fun thing for him. And they had DJ Schramm on last night, and I did not know this, but as the two team captains, they were involved in picking some of the uniforms last year, and they called it one of the toughest things they've had to do as captains is try to come up with the uniform combinations. Here's a brief clip from last night's show.
One of the hardest tasks we had to deal with throughout the season, because there's a lot of guys that like certain things. Mine was black. I like the blue, black, blue that we did for the Frisco Bowl, or all black. Those are my two favorites.
Yeah, I'd say number one is the Frisco Bowl, and number two's all blue on the blue classic.
Yeah, classic.
It's not really a bad one, right? I mean,
it really is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
picking the uniforms, me and DJ, I think it was it twice this year that we got to do it?
Yeah.
Because usually they plan them out in advance and they coordinate it with the school and what they're wearing, student section. But 2 of the away games, they let us pick them. And like we said earlier, we went out and just asked people what they wanted to wear. And we kind of figured it out. And then there was a lot of tension in the bowl game about which uniforms we were going to go. So we had to present them to Coach D, and because he's a blue on blue guy, and I get it. That's the way. But some of the other guys, the DBs, the flashy guys, wanted what was it? It was orange or blue, white, orange. Is that what it was?
No, it was orange, blue, orange.
Orange, blue, orange. Yeah, that's what it was. And so we had to present that to Coach D. We actually had Alexander Tubner put it on and go out in front of the team in our team meeting and take a vote, and it ended up winning. So
usually it doesn't come down to that, but there was a lot of mixed feelings on that uniform. It was basically either you loved it or you hated it. There was no like, oh, I'm kind of fine wearing this. Like, I don't really care. It's either absolutely not or absolutely. So
as long as the O-line didn't have to wear white pants, they were going to be fine. So take them out of it.
Jay, and I remember that when that uniform combo came out, there was I should have had a picture ready to go, but orange, blue, orange was one that we hadn't seen very often, if ever, for them. And I remember there was some folks that loved it and some folks that kind of went, I don't know about this one. And it sounds like even the team was a little divided on that.
My initial take was I did not like them. My initial take was come on, out of all the combos they can roll out there, I didn't like it. And then game day came around and I saw it on the field like in person, and I quickly flipped it. In person on the field, it actually looked pretty good. I think that sometimes they're, the oranges, like depending on like the lighting or I don't know what it is, but sometimes they don't look like they completely match like the orange pants or something like that. But like when I saw it on the field game day, I was like, okay, I actually like these. They're not bad. So I had both emotions of good and bad about them all in, a matter of a couple of days. But I mean, as long as we're talking about uniforms, I'm just excited that they're finally getting new ones, because some of the things about the old uniforms just kind of bugged me. Like it didn't seem like they would always match, certain combos they had. Like
the helmet didn't match the color of orange. The orange helmet doesn't match the orange jersey or the orange pants.
Right. It really doesn't. And like I said, sometimes I feel like it's just like the lighting or something, but like it just kind of is noticeable. And then another thing, like, it also just kind of bugged me, like when their white pants only have blue lettering on them with white, yet like they're blue jerseys. So if you want to wear blue and white, they have like the silver kind of chevron or whatever you want to call it. Make it white, make the letters on white. Like I feel like that would pop better. I'm also not a fashionista, so just dismiss anything and everything I'm saying right now. But I'm just excited for them to have another shot at some uniforms here in the.
And my understanding is it's going to be new blue ones, new white ones, and new black ones. The orange ones will stay the same at least for the next year. And I was also told, Jay, not to get super excited about it because Nike's going to a pretty standard looking uniform now, so it's going to be.
That's okay.
It won't be like Boise State has some crazy flashy uniform. It's going to be the same template that a lot of the other teams have.
I'm honestly like, I think that could disappoint some teams, but a couple years ago, my alma mater, Washington State, went to a very simple template for their jerseys, and they only rotate in like 3 colors, and that way like everything's interchangeable. You can create so many combinations, and it looks really, really good together. And so I'm actually kind of okay with it. Like I think that simple might be better in this case.
Just to dispel this rumor from RJ Keene, Naismith does not need Tommy John surgery. I'm not pitching him 130 plus pitches. He is the starting pitcher tomorrow. We got a big game at 2:00 tomorrow. Naismith is our starting pitcher, but I think the most he's gone in a game is like 55 or something. So no, we're not pushing him on the pitch count limit. The limit's actually 75, but we've kept him in the 50 range to this point in the season. So that is not true, RJ Keene, but appreciate you for commenting. We got about 5 minutes left, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, do you think RJ Keene was a good baseball player back in the day? What do you think? We know he's watching.
This is a loaded question.
A trick question.
Come on, I like RJ.
Yes.
I can't compliment RJ, but I also like RJ, so he was okay, sure. I'll say, yeah, he's okay.
All right, well,
it's the best I can do.
I'll have to reach out to his mom and dad, see if we can find some old clips or anything of his baseball days back.
I would love that.
He does talk about the game, but we got about 5 minutes left, Jay. I want to end this talking specifically about tomorrow's scrimmage. But first, just give you a chance for one thought on Maddox Madson. I'm not going to play a bite here. We don't have time for it. But we talked to Maddox Madson yesterday. He was honest about everything. He says he's feeling good. He says he's not transferring. He's ready to fight with these other quarterbacks. I thought he handled all the questions well. Just a quick thought from you on Maddox Madson meeting with the media yesterday.
I still think that Maddox, if you were to try to, to gauge this race of who's ahead right now, I know that he can't go 11 on 11, but I still think that he probably is your favorite. Again, as of right now, everything we know, we're heading into the summer where guys can certainly make jumps and get better, have a better understanding of the offense. I get that. But like as of right now, if you had to make the odds-on favorite to win the starting quarterback job, I think it's Maddox Madson. I think he feels really comfortable and confident. Kid's got a great head on his shoulders. You can tell he knows the offense, knows his players. I think one of the things that I took away from our session with him yesterday is he also said that he's okay with being a jerk at times. Like that shows that now he has moved into a leadership role, and not only is he comfortable in that role, but guys respect him in that role because he can hold them accountable. He says, if things aren't going good or they're not right, like he feels like he has now the ability to step in and have a voice in those situations. And so, he's okay with being a jerk if he has to. And I think that's a big part in becoming a leader. Like sometimes you do have to get a little uncomfortable, and he's okay with that right now.
Scrimmage 2 tomorrow, and as Kent Riddle was saying last night on the show, Scrimmage 2 is really the important one because the spring game, it's more vanilla. You don't show as much for the fans and for people with cameras and stuff. And tomorrow is kind of the last real chance for players to run some of the real plays and really show the coaches in terms of the depth chart and all that kind of stuff. We obviously won't get a chance to watch it. We'll talk to Spencer Danielson afterwards. The first scrimmage, there were no interceptions. All the talk was on the quarterbacks playing well and the offense. Yes, yesterday at practice, four picks by the or 4 turnovers. So the defense is having their moments. For those that were worried about same problems as last year, they had 4 takeaways yesterday. But what are your thoughts? What do you want to hear from Spencer Danielson after scrimmage 2?
That honestly, that's just what I was going to bring up. Is yesterday while we were at practice, watching the extended portion of practice, which was certainly nice, so we could have perspective like this. There weren't any interceptions thrown in that first scrimmage, and yesterday we're at practice and we see 4 interceptions, and I got to say, like there was a couple of them not on the quarterback. Like I'm very comfortable and confident saying 2 of them specifically were not on the quarterback. It was the defensive back getting himself in a really, really good position and going up and making a really, really nice play.
You can name them if you want.
Jeremiah Irby had one of them he made a great play. Might have tugged on Austin Bolt's shoulder pad just a little bit, but I'll give it to him. And then actually, Griffey's kid made a really nice play going up in high point and kind of got his hips around at the last second. Was in great position and went up and made a really nice kind of acrobatic interception that was notable. So
who's 16? Is that Franklin?
Franklin had one too. That one was more. That one was definitely a bad ball. I'm going to say that was a bad ball on a 4-string. I think probably like 4-string quarterback. But either way, like it just goes to show you though that not. That's definitely something Boise State's going to have to prove. So if fans want to be skeptical until it actually shows up in the fall, that's fine. I'm actually okay with that. But it is happening in practice, and I thought it was kind of cool. Eric Chenander told us he spent time, the staff has spent time with Clemson, Middle Tennessee State, because of their ability to, generate turnovers. And it's funny because you're like, Middle Tennessee State, like, really? I thought it was interesting that Eric said, no, you also want to kind of target programs that aren't like Alabama, because obviously
players.
Yeah, obviously Alabama's going to have turnovers because they have all the best players in the world, right? So you want to find who's getting, I guess you could say the biggest bang for their buck, where they're not getting a bunch of 5-star guys, but you look up and they're like, oh, they generated a fair amount of turnovers last year.
Yeah, and I think it was I forget which player we talked to said they are doing some different drills and things and emphasizing it differently this spring. So that's going to be one of our, I'm sure, 20 questions when we do our summer countdown, Jay, in June and July is, can the defense create more turnovers this year? And I'm sure we'll talk more in depth about that. But it does sound like Eric Chenander, one of the things taken over as defensive coordinator, is focused on, as you said, research with other schools, ways to drill it more. And it feels like every 3-4 years we're doing this. They're emphasizing turnovers more. They're doing more drills, but that's the offseason kind of one of the main storylines on the defense. You mentioned Irby. I don't know if you're talking about the same play, because I saw a play where he just had a pass breakup in the end zone. It was insane, man. It was a great play. You're right. Yeah, it might have been. There was some stuff going on there too, but he had a great pass breakup in the end zone, had the crowd talking. There was a lot of trash talking yesterday, and the energy, again, maybe it is how it is every time. We've never been allowed to watch a lot of the team drills, but to me, Jay, it seems like the the intensity, the competition, the trash talking has been super high this spring.
Yeah, practice is loud. It seems competitive, and Jeremiah Irby had multiple nice plays in practice yesterday. Not just the pick, not just the pass breakup down near the goal line that you're talking about. He had a really nice practice yesterday. So, yeah, head into scrimmage 2, and now we'll see
your
what
final
happens.
your final thoughts then. What do you expect or want to hear from Spencer Danielson? What should be again, it was the offense kind of leading the way. Do we expect maybe this carries over from yesterday and the defense is the story tomorrow? Or, obviously the main story is you don't want to get anybody hurt. But obviously scrimmage 2, as I said, is the real big scrimmage here, because the fan open practice spring scrimmage is more of just a thing for the fans. You run your very basic plays. Ashton Genty maybe he'll catch a punt and fair catch it or whatever, but probably won't get many carries, if any. Just your overall take on scrimmage 2 tomorrow to wrap this up.
I honestly, I'm cool seeing no turnovers by the quarterbacks. Seeing they can contain that, and maybe at the same time, I'm trying to figure out a way to have a couple more big plays by the defense, because I think that would be important for their confidence heading into the spring scrimmage. And I'll leave you with this, BJ, just because we haven't really talked about him a lot.
Why are you talking so fast, Jay?
Because my laptop's about to die. My laptop's about to die. I'm just going to bring up Jonah Dalmas's name really quick because he has been everything and more that you would expect out of a guy of his talent and his experience. Has he
missed the kick?
I don't know if he has. Like, when we've been there, it could be from 58, it could be from 8. Like the guy has, 8 would be kind of impossible. But I'm just saying he's been unbelievable. He is going to be such a freaking weapon this year for Boise State.
Well, we appreciate your time, Jay. We'll see you at softball at 6 tonight, 2:00 tomorrow. We'll have Spencer Danielson talking tomorrow as well, and we'll be watching KTVB and all your various newscasts for your coverage, man. Appreciate you.
Later, buddy.
There he is, Jay Tust. Don't forget, one more shout out for the golf tournament, May 31st. We'd love to have you. Only 7 foursomes left in the morning. So if you want in, you better get in now. You'll have some of your favorite players and coaches out there. We've got Spencer Danielson confirmed. Mike Burns is confirmed from the basketball team. RJ Keene, who's in our chat, is going to be out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tyson Degenhardt is confirmed as well. And we're adding some football players. Jonah Dalmas. Maddox Madson confirmed yesterday. He is in. So going to be a lot of fun if you're a fan of the local teams here to come on out, play some golf, help a good cause, and really looking forward to it. So May 31st, but again, we're going to sell out here well before that. So don't wait. Get your group together. Purchase your foursome today. BroncoNationNews.com/golf. You can also email me, rains@BroncoNationNews.com. And again, you get Degenhardt dozens for breakfast out there. You get to hang out with some cool folks. You get a chance to win a Bronco Sport with a hole-in-one on hole 6. And then you get a chance. We'll have our celebrity shot. Just going to be a lot of fun. And a lot of former players are out there. And there you see Winston Venable and Coach Riddle and Dustin Camper and a lot of folks. And just great weather, great day, and a great course, and a lot of fun times together, and a lot of camaraderie. So don't wait. If you've ever thought about playing, it's $600 for a foursome, $150 a person. And that gets you 18 holes of golf, access to the driving range, the putting green, the cart. And then you get a really nice catered lunch, and you get a little swag bag with all kinds of stuff. I mentioned there's going to be golf towels, golf balls, all kinds of cool stuff. And we'll have the raffle. And again, the biggest thing is we're raising money for charity. And it's going to be just another fun day. The first one was great. Second one was even better. Third one is going to be the best of all. So appreciate you guys for checking us out. And we'll talk to you later. Again, Spencer Danielson's talking tomorrow. We'll get that up on BroncoNationNews.com afterwards. Got softball tonight at 6 o'clock. Hope to see you out there for that. Have a great rest of your Friday. Again, Jazz Gardner, Boise State in the Final Four for him for basketball. So we'll try to keep you covered if there's any visits coming up for basketball or any other recruiting news. Again, the Broncos still have 2 scholarships to play with, and we'll see how they decide to use those. They continue to build a roster that they hope will compete for a Mountain West championship and a run in the NCAA tournament. So have a great rest of your Friday. Spencer Danielson talks tomorrow after scrimmage 2. We'll have that up on the YouTube channel probably 3-4 o'clock, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.